Hello, this is Jamie D, and I am recording this YouTube video. And it is titled Seniors Yoga. It is for everyone. You don't have to be on Medicare. You don't have to be over a certain age to practice this yoga because it's a style that's accessible for everyone. If depending on your challenges, you can modify, and also you can challenge yourself more. So as you go into the movements and into the practice, the more familiar you are, the more you'll find ways to get deeper into the areas that you could challenge yourself. So this class is going to hopefully open up our hips. So you'll start with a chair. Yoga chairs, probably the preferred, but if you have any other chair that you use, just have it open at the end of your mat. And then one blanket, not necessarily over your mat, but you can place it under your head or under your knees, wherever it feels best for you. And just start by coming onto your back. So adjust the chair so it's at the foot end of your mat. And when you come onto your back, just let yourself relax and start to feel your physical body on the mat. Place your arms someplace comfortable. It doesn't have to be down by your sides. Place them in a spot where you can feel a sense of them dropping and relaxing. So make sure they're in a good spot. Have your head not straining. So find that prop for your head so your head feels comfortable, and then let yourself soften. And as you soften, feel your muscles start to notice the mat a little more. And then feeling your breath without changing it, if you can help it. Just try to let it remain at its own natural rhythm. So letting it come in and out. And maybe it's a little slower right now since you are on your back, hopefully letting your muscles relax. So take another minute of quiet stillness, being in union with your breath and your body and your mind. So here we go. Try to keep your mind on your mat. And you can use your breath to help your mind stay here. So notice your breath as you take your inhale. And then noticing as you exhale, see if you can let it take longer than it usually typically does. Doing this for about 4 or 5 more intentionally slow breaths. Nice. So now situate yourself so that you feel comfortable on your mat, and then your arms are out to the sides, not necessarily straight out, but you can have a soft O shape with the palms facing up so that you can feel your back body, and then a softness in the back of your skull. So start with the noticing of your right foot. Just take your awareness to your right foot. My feet are underneath the chair, so that's not in the way. So now I'm going to start by pull the toes of your right foot towards your shin and reach the right heel long. And then release the action, soften the muscles in your leg, and just let your foot relax. Do that 2 more times. So as you pull your toes back and reach the heel, feel like your whole foot is going straight from the ankle out, toes pulling back, and then releasing it. Do one more, and as you slide that heel a little bit away from you, notice the opposite hip sliding upwards slightly. Doesn't leave the mat, it's just gonna move a little bit. And then release that right leg. So now we'll do the same thing with the left. Let your right leg relax. Just let your whole right foot be relaxed. And now notice your left foot. So you'll pull the toes of your left foot towards you, reach that left heel long, and then slow motion, releasing that action. So just noticing the difference between right and left. Go again, 2 more. Make them a little longer and take a little more time. So that last one, when you reach the heel, really pull those toes towards you. Get long through the back of the leg. Feel the other hip slide up a little and then release. So keep your arms and your upper body where it's at, but let your legs do that movement from side to side. So let your right heel reach, right toes pull back. That's an inhale. And then as you exhale, relax that leg. And then inhale, go to the other side. Pull the toes towards you, reach the heel away, and then exhale, let it release. Go back and forth a few more times on each side. And feel that sliding of your hip. It's just like your glutes are just kind of scooching back and up and down as you go side to side. So you're stretching your SI joints. And then come back to the center, having your feet about parallel and hip width distance. And then we're going to add the arms. So work with the blanket if it's underneath your head. I have my hands just resting on the blanket. So now as you inhale, lengthen the right leg and start to slide your right hand towards the very top of your right mat and beyond. Lengthen the whole right side of your body. That's your inhale. Exhale as you release it and soften. Slide that arm to its starting point and then inhale, the left side goes long. Reach the left arm, reach the left heel. Work with your own shoulders and your own hips, what you have going on. Exhale and soften. And then at your own pace, go back and forth 2 more times on each side. So you can always add an extra breath with a pause. If you find a nice length happening or just feeling something release, take some time there. Should feel pretty good. Good. And then after you finish this last one, go ahead and bend your knees. Let your feet be on the mat. Gonna lift your pelvis up and set it back down. So your glutes are even on the mat and your feet are hip width distance. Then have your hands right on top of your belly and chest, right where the rib cage meets the belly. So I place the fingers kind of wide right in this area. So when you take your inhale, just soften your back. Don't let anything else be controlled. Just let your breath fill your belly. And notice any movement with your fingers. And then as you exhale, let your breath come back out. One more time, just breathe. Inhale. Feel the movement of your fingers. Nothing crazy big. Exhale and release. And then we'll add the spine. So don't try to move your head. Just think about your low back. So when you inhale, your fingers are going to release and breath gets into the belly. Lift your spine. A little lifting of your fingers on that belly. And then when you exhale, let your spine go to the mat and press it down into the mat. And then inhale again. Lift your spine, let your fingers kind of stretch open a little more. Exhale. Press your spine down. Feel your tailbone kind of lift up. The rest of your pelvis is down. So inhale, lift your belly and spine, tuck your chin down. Exhale, lift your chin up as your spine goes down. Inhale, lift your spine, tuck your chin. Exhale, lower your spine, lift your chin, maybe a little higher as you press your back. Let's do two more. Inhale, lift your spine, tuck your chin. Keep your spine lifted, but exhale just a little bit. It's not easy. And then when you inhale again, you're still lifting your spine. It's still lifted from before. Exhale, let your spine go down and then your chin releases. One more time, inhale, tuck your chin, lift your spine. Feel the lymph nodes massaging on your neck, on the sides. And then when you exhale, this next one, just let your back come down, let your arms go down by your sides. Keep your knees bent, but let them touch one another so that you can feel the release in your legs. So softening the back body, feeling everything, just relax. Good. So just keeping that chair where it's at, we're not going to use it yet. Take your arms wide into a T shape with the palms up, and then separate your feet as wide as your mat. So again, your knees are bent and your feet are on the mat. So when you take an inhale, you're going to take your right knee, drop it over to the right. You kind of roll to the pinky toe side of that foot, and then let your left knee drop to the right, drop to the big toe side of that foot. And then let those knees just relax there as you pause and breathe. So just feel this wide stretch with the feet. Just kind of notice the top leg. See if you feel a little more stretch on the upper top thigh. And then use an inhale to bring both those knees. Left one comes back up, feet stay on the mat. Right one comes back up, and then drop them over to the left. So just like you did on the right, take them over to the left, feet are wide. Once they get over to the side, just soften the shoulders, let those knees twist your torso. So you're trying to keep both of your shoulders on the mat or your blanket, whatever you've got. So now inhale, your knees up to the center. Bring your feet closer together and lift your feet up off of the mat. So you've got your knees and feet up off the mat. You're still in that T shape with your arms. So you're going to take an inhale and drop your knees over to your right. Both knees go over to the right. And then exhale, drop that left shoulder. On your next inhale, press your right back of your right hand into the floor, and then lift your knees up together, back up through the center. And then when you exhale, drop them over to your left as a unit. So your knees and feet are stacked, dropping them over to the other side. They may or may not go all the way down, but then when you inhale, press the back of that hand down to bring them back up to the center. Go back and forth a few times. So as your knees go over to the right, use the back of that right hand to help press your knees back up. As they go to the other side, same thing happens. Good. Now bring your knees right back up into the center. You can keep your feet off of the floor and interlace your hands behind your head. So you've got your elbows wide, your knees and feet are together. If you need to keep them on the floor, you can. Otherwise, with your hands behind your head and your elbows open like a butterfly, you'll take your knees over to the right, and then you're gonna lift up that left elbow, roll onto your right side, keep your elbows and hands as they are behind your head with the hands. You just kind of curled into a ball. Now you're going to keep your legs where they are, but when you inhale, lift your left elbow, start to roll onto your back with your upper spine. Let your left elbow go over to the floor, look towards your left. You can take a breath in this twist. Use an inhale to bring that elbow back up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you take it all the way over. Do 2 more. Some nice twists here as you open up the elbows. And close them back up. And then when you get to the place where you have both of your elbows open and you're in your twist, you can lift your knees back up through the center. You can touch your feet down. And then just take that pause in the middle before we do the other side. So first thing you'll do, sense that you've got your head right in the middle of your hands. And then when you bring your feet up off the mat, if you choose to, you've got your feet and knees together. Then you'll start to take your knees over to the left. And as you drop your knees over, start to lift your right elbow off the floor as you roll all the way onto your left side. Knees touch down, curl into that ball on the other side. And then you're going to open and close like you did before. Knees are going to stay to the side. When you inhale, let that upper elbow open. Roll it all the way open so that you're in a nice open twist with your chest. You can look to the right. And then when you close your elbows, let your head just come right in the middle. Do a couple more. Don't go too fast. Just feel the twist in your ribs all the way into your belly. And then the next time you have your elbows open, you can also let your knees come up. Place your feet on the mat. You can let your arms come down by your sides and then let your legs go long again. Feeling yourself on your back and noticing if anything feels different from when you first started on your back. Take another breath. And then you're going to roll onto your side. It could be either side because you're going to roll up and then we're going to come into a child's pose. So take your blanket. You can fold it. Place it right in front of the legs of the chair. So have it folded so it's in a longer rectangle fold. And then when you come into your child's pose, first of all, come into all fours so that you situate yourself facing headward towards the seat of the chair. So you'll have your hands wide on the mat to start with. Separate your knees hip width distance apart. You can tuck your toes under and do so just to stretch out the bottoms of your feet. So really let the bottoms of your toes just tuck, tuck, tuck. So as you come onto all fours, start to lift up through the midsection and sense that your spine is nice and long. You're looking down towards your blanket. Your head is going headward towards the seat of the chair and your tailbone going towards the foot end of your mat. Let's take it into a cow pose. Excuse me, inhale, lift your head, pull your shoulders back, lift your tailbone. Exhale, press your arms down, round it up into your cat. Do two more. So when you inhale, pull your elbows in. Exhale, press your hands down, arms are long. Good. And then after you come back to the center, you can take your knees a little wider than hip width as you set up for a wide child's pose. So opening up a little through the hips, you're going to take your hips back towards your heels, place your forearms on the blanket, and then your hands can hold on to the front legs of the chair. So as you situate yourself, your forehead will rest on the blanket. Your arms will be long and extended. So you might need to scoot your rear down a little bit. And then rest your forehead down onto your blanket, or it can rest on the mat. But make sure that you've got length in your arms. So once you get into your child's pose, we're going to use the hands a little differently than just grabbing. So see if you can place your hands flat on the mat and have the legs of the chair right in between your thumb and your index finger. So you've got it right in the crook, in the webbing of the index finger and thumb. And then the other fingers are spread out. So as you press your fingers down, you can encourage your shoulder blades to go down, trying to keep space between your ears and shoulders. So it's like you're rolling those elbows down and into your blanket. Good. Take a few breaths, just letting your pelvis drop. Feel the length in your side body. And now you're going to start to take it over to your right. So your left hand is starting to move over towards the right side. Place your left hand on the right leg where your right hand is. Bend your right elbow so that you can let your head rest either on your blanket or on your right hand. So you will have a diagonal here. So as you're reaching that left arm, I still have my thumb right in the crook of the leg. And then I can lengthen out that left side by encouraging the left part of the pelvis towards the left heel. And then you can start to take your ribs over towards that right thigh a little bit. Get a little longer on the left side. One more breath in this side. And then we're going to start to walk it over back through the center. You can move that right hand out and then switch it out. So your right thumb and finger are on the leg of the chair. Bend your left elbow and then place your head either on your arm or blanket for the other side. So once again, try to notice, is your shoulder way up by your ear? Can you press into your fingers and pull that shoulder down your back, roll your ribs over towards your left thigh? Take another breath like this. Good. And then walk it back into the center. Press it back up. Place your hands underneath your shoulders again and do a few cat-cows just to counterpose that child's pose. So you're pressing up into your cat pose, inhaling it into your cow pose. Pull those shoulders back. Yeah. So just feel that counter action. Good. And then we're going to come back on down to the mat. You're going to sit so that you're facing, let's see here. Your legs are going to be facing the seat of the chair. And you don't have to use the wall, but you're going to place your, I'm going to move this blanket. You can use it for your head if you need to. Otherwise, you can have it off to the side and place your feet on the seat of the chair. And just noticing a little slide of your heels back and forth on the seat of the chair. So just feeling this place where we crease, especially when we sit in a chair, we get tight right in this area often. So now just kind of sense that you've got your pelvis level on the mat. You're going to keep your left heel on the chair, and then you're going to take that right ankle, place it on that left thigh, just above the knee. So you might need to slide that left leg away from you to get this leg up and over. If that's the case, you can ditch the chair, place your foot on the mat and do it this way. Otherwise, we're going to do it with a head start stretch by placing the heel on the seat of the chair. Start by letting your hands just kind of hold right hands on the right knee, left hands towards the right foot, trying to encourage that right hip to open. And then start to slide your left heel towards you so that you're going to open into more of this hip. So thread the needle, your right hand goes onto that left thigh, left hand goes onto the left thigh, interlace your hands behind your left thigh, and then start to pull that left thigh in towards your left ribs. Nudge your right thigh away. Keep this opening in your chest. So trying not to crunch it up. If you feel any sense of losing any space, take your heel back to the chair. So it's not about how high up you can get. It's all about how open you can get while you're doing this. So for people that aren't as flexible, find where you can feel ease and just work with the stretch there. Good. And then go ahead and let that foot stay on the thigh as you slide your left leg away from you. You let go with your hands, undo that right ankle. Just feel both of your legs on the seat of the chair. And then you'll start to pull that right foot in a little bit and then cross your left ankle across your right thigh, just above the knee. And then use your hands. So hold on to your left foot with your right hand if you can. Left hand holds the left knee, and then start to slide your foot in towards you. So stop at the end of your range, wherever it is for you, but try to keep energy in that foot that's on the chair and the foot that's in your hand, so that you feel like you've got your legs in a position where you could stand. So it's like Tadasana feet. And now take your hands, interlace your fingers behind that right thigh as you start to bring that heel in a little closer if that works for you. Nudge that left thigh away, and then let that right thigh come in towards your right ribs. So for this side, let your elbows go way out to the sides, and then just try to encourage space in your chest as you open this side of your pelvis. Nice. And then start to release by placing your heel back on the chair, release your hands and let your legs land on that seat of the chair again. Just take a moment and feel your pelvis. Good. And so now we're going to do another opening of the hips. So what you'll do is you'll take your feet off the seat of the chair so that you can kind of see your feet where they're at in the sky. And then cross your legs below the knees. So you're not crossing above the knees, you're crossing below the knees. And then take a look at your feet. So see if you can reach up. Grab your left foot with your right hand. Grab your right foot with your left hand. If that doesn't work, hold on top of your lower leg, like right on top of your ankle or your shin. If you could do that, that's also going to be helpful. But if you can, hold on to the bottoms of your feet by placing the palms of your hands right on the smack dab on the bottoms of your feet, soles of your feet, and then place your head back down. Use your blanket as needed so that you can hold on to your feet and have them pretty much lined up with your knees. And now, once again, your elbows are going to be out to the sides. And see if you can take an inhale. When you exhale, bring your lower legs a little closer to your chest. Keep your elbows out to the sides. Press your feet into your hands and breathe. It's an active hip opener. We do this seated quite a bit. And then as you release, you can let your legs go up in the air. Just keep those feet up. Let your hands go overhead and point and flex your toes a few times. So pull your toes towards your legs and then point, flex, and point. And then we're going to cross the legs again. The other ankle over the first. So hopefully you remember which side. So now I'm going to place my right ankle on top. And then if you can, lift up and grab the soles of your feet or else the tops of your shins. Once you grab on, see if you can lay your head back down. Just take a moment to get used to the shape because it's a very intense hip stretch. So that's why I say, it is for keep your feet on the chair. So now, once you're kind of familiar with the shape, start to take your elbows out to the sides and see if you can encourage those lower legs a little closer to your chest. And then start to lower your tailbone down a little bit. Your hands will start to go away from you. And then once again, pull those legs in, take those elbows wide. Nice. And then release that action. Let your legs go straight up. Let your arms go overhead. So bringing your feet together, legs together. You'll use your inhale, have your palms up and let your legs lower about 10, 20 degrees towards the seat of the chair. They might touch it. And then exhale, pull them back up. Inhale, take them down to where the seat of the chair is. And exhale, pull them back up. One more time. Take those legs down towards the chair. And pull them back up. Good. Bend your knees. We'll roll to the side. And then press yourselves up. And then we're going to come up to stand. So that as we come up to stand, just take your time once again. So set yourself up to stand in mountain pose in front of the seat of your chair. And feel the strength from the ground up. So as you are standing and feeling the strength in your feet, make sure you feel a good foundation in your feet. Pull the arches of your feet up, lift your toes, and have your feet parallel to the sides of your mat so that when you feel that engagement, roll the inner thighs towards one another, pull the low belly up and in, and then feel the length from the top of your back, top of your spine, all the way down to your pelvis. So once you feel this stability, have your chin parallel to the floor and relax your shoulders. So we so often have the shoulders up. So relax those shoulders back and down. Good. Then take an inhale. Let both of your arms reach out to the sides and go all the way up. Soften your shoulders again. And then when you take your exhale, you're going to forward fold and let your hands land right on the seat of the chair. Spread your fingers wide. Actually, let's hold on to the sides of the chair. So we're going to use the whole sides of the chair. Make sure your chair is on your mat. And then have your torso nice and long so that it's right in line with your midsection and the legs and arms. So from here, pull in through the low belly. So you're trying to let the low belly pull up and in. Head is right in line with your neck. So look at your right foot and lift your right heel. Slide that foot on the mat back. Once your foot is back to where you can lift it up off the floor, pull the toes towards you and then lift that leg straight back. So you can have that leg out from your pelvis. Squeeze that right glute and see if that can help pull your pelvis right in line with the left side. So once you find that sense of your pelvis in a nice horizontal line across your mat, feel the strength in your leg, but pull in through your low belly. So when you take your inhale, slightly bend your left knee, reach that right leg a little longer, and now exhale, round your head, bring your spine into cat pose, bend your right knee and curl your forehead in towards your knee. Inhale, straighten that leg back out. 2 more. Exhale, round your spine, pull the low belly in as you round your head towards your knee. Inhale, straight back. And 1 more time. Pull it up and in. Try to keep nice and smooth as you can. Once you have that leg straight out, sense again that your hips are right in line with one another and then lower that foot down. So it's right next to your other foot. And then you'll soften your knees, release your hands, let your arms go out to the sides as you inhale your arms all the way up. Look up, little mini back bend, and then exhale, forward fold. Again, let your hands land right on the chair. Hold on to the sides. Energize those legs. Pull up and in through the low belly. And then again, this time you're really putting your legs into Tadasana, mountain pose. Lift your left heel a little and slide that left foot back. Keep the toes on the mat as long as you can. Try to keep that pelvis in line and then lift the foot up. Toes are right underneath your heel as you extend out from your torso, head top to heel. Your inhale lengthens that leg. You might bend your knee a little bit on the other side. Exhale, bend your knee, curl your forehead in towards that leg. 2 times more. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, pull it up and in. One more time. Taking it out. And then pulling it up and in. And then coming back down. Good. And then go ahead and bring yourselves up to stand. So we'll work with our warrior one pose with our chair. So turning it around so that you've got the top of the chair facing you, and you can hold on to the top of it. Place the toes of your left foot underneath the seat of the chair and step your right foot back. Turn those right toes in. So for a warrior one, I tend not to have my heel to arches lined up. I tend to have the feet a little bit offset. So then you can turn your pelvis to face this chair, bend your left knee. So find the distance for you so that when you bring your right knee or your right leg back, you can feel the connection through the outer edge of your right foot. And then as you come into your warrior one, let's bring the arms up and then lock your thumbs so that you can pull those elbows wide. So as you lock those thumbs and you pull the elbows wide, you can feel the opening of your shoulders and your chest. So keep this movement. You could, if you would like to, release your hands, but try not to disengage the shoulders. Just keep all that action in the shoulders as you just let your palms face one another, arms are reaching up. Good. And then you'll take your hands to the top of the chair, step your legs together, and then we'll take it to the other side. So your right foot toes are going to go under the seat of the chair, and the left foot goes back. So then you'll bend your front knee. Again, I tend to take that back leg a little bit off to the side, to the outer side, so I can really feel the connection in the back outer edge of that foot. That's the anchoring of this pose. So once you start to turn your pelvis forward, really connect through that back foot, back leg, so that you can keep your torso right in line with your pelvis. Once again, take your arms up and then locking your thumbs. Again, this right knee this time is bent and it's right over the foot. So as you pull your elbows wide, feel the shoulder blades connect in the back. Once again, if you'd like to release your hands, don't let go of that energy in your shoulders. Nice. And then as you come out, let your hands come down, and then you'll step your feet together. And then we're going to come to have a seat on a chair. I'm going to start with the chair facing you. So as you come to have a seat, we're going to work with our Utkatasana, just a little energy lifting movement pattern here. So sitting on your chair, have your knees together, feet together, rear is really close to the front of the chair. So you're going to lean forward a little bit. And what we'll be doing is swooshing up into Utkatasana, chair pose, and then coming back down. So we'll be going into it with some momentum. So as you have yourself seated again, feeling like you've got your pelvis all ready to go, start by pulling the low belly muscles in so that you can keep your torso nice and long, and then let your arms go down by your sides. So then when you take your inhale, your arms are going to go back, and then exhale, press your legs, lift up, scoop your tailbone, and pause in your chair pose. So again, slowly lower down, your chair is there. Take your rear to it, take your arms back, and then start to do it again. Lift up, maybe a little higher. Don't forget to engage your low belly as you lift up Come back down. One more time to lift. Lift up nice and easy. Relax your shoulders. Pulling through the low belly. Try not to feel it in your back. Engage the muscles in front of the spine. And then come back down. Nice. So a few more stretches here with our chairs as we're sitting. So for this one, you're going to sit sideways on your chair. And here we go. It's another figure 4. Excuse me. So when you sit sideways, this might not be possible for some people. And you can always do your figure 4 on your back or sitting on your mat. But if it's possible, the leg closest to the chair is the one that's going to come up and cross over onto the opposite side. So then for me, the right leg is on top of the left. And then nudge yourself so that you've got yourself with the right leg close to this top of the chair. So once you get in your figure 4, as you're seated, hold on to your foot with your hand and the knee with the other hand. Lengthen your spine and then just do a little hinge forward to start with. See if you can find a little more nooks and crannies that have new spots you might find. And bring it back up. So now you've got this leg right in place. Take your left hand. This is my right leg. Place your left hand right over your left leg. Take your right hand down to the bottom of the seat of the chair and turn your torso towards the top of the chair. So here we are in our figure 4 with a twist. So you can nudge and kind of keep this leg in place by holding onto the chair above it. Turn your torso and grab onto the chair behind you, and then have your head right in the middle of your chest. Take a few breaths where you inhale, feeling the length of your spine, noticing your hips. Exhale, what can you soften? Good. And as you come out, you'll release the back hand, release that front, and then you can slide this leg off. Just take a moment and notice. And then we're going to do the other side. So I'm just going to turn my chair. So then again, when you're sitting sideways. You might need to find a little place to scooch a little out to the side. The leg closest to the chair will be the one we're going up. If that doesn't work for you, take it to the other side. That's an option as well. And then you'll twist towards the bent knee side of the up leg. Otherwise, if you've got the space to put this leg across on where the top of the chair is, you can go for that. So hold on to your foot, hold on to your knee, feel the length as you inhale. And then when you exhale, hinge forward. Whew, I just felt that in my left hip a lot. So going forward, look towards the floor or your mat. Lengthen out through the top of your head. Use your breath. Good. And then coming back up, keep your legs as they are. This time my left leg is on top. Right hand's going to go right above where my left thigh is. Left hand is going to grab the seat of the chair, and I'm going to start to turn. Or you could start by holding on to the top. Let your twists happen from the middle as your chest is turning towards the top of the chair. If you can grab on underneath, then it's a little easier to let your head relax right in the center of your chest. So not twisting your neck, Just letting your head be right in the middle. Another moment. And then as you start to come back out, you'll release your backhand, you'll release your front, and then let that leg come back down. Oof. Good job. So now we'll take it into our forward fold using the chair. So you can let your feet be as wide as the legs of your chair. I like to start forward quite a bit and then letting your hands rest on the legs so that when you inhale, you can get nice and long, and then hips slide back a little as you start to lengthen your torso right in between your legs. So as your torso comes down, see if your hands can come to the mat in between your feet. Start to slide your rear back, slide your feet back, and then you can let your head dangle down. If your shoulders allow and your wrists allow, let your hands turn so your fingers are facing away from your feet. Place the palms down, wrists are on the mat. Feel the stretch in your wrists. And then for 2 breaths, when you inhale, allow your spine to lengthen. Actually, just let your gaze go towards the top of your mat a little bit, and then exhale. Keep the length, keep the space, soften your arms as you dangle your head down just for the last few moments here. Now move your hands back so that they're facing forward. We're coming out really slow. So let your hands make their way to your knees and thighs, and then nice and easy, bring yourselves back up. Scooch forward so that you're in a seated Tadasana or mountain pose. So allowing your feet to be parallel. Lift your toes and activate your feet. Lift the arches as if you were in mountain pose standing. Soften your toes, but keep the legs energized. Pulling in through those thighs. Try to keep your shoulders right over your pelvis. Scoop the low belly, lean back ever so slightly. Not so much that it hurts your back. Bring it up if you feel it in your spine, but lower belly muscles. And then go ahead and bring it back up. Then we'll set up for Shavasana. So for these last few minutes before you set up, you can do a few movements that might feel good, help you release into your Shava better. So you can do a few full body stretches, whatever suits you as you're setting up. So finding your place. And then once you start to get all settled in, you can choose to use the chair for your legs. Go legs up the wall, whatever feels good. Allowing yourselves to relax into your final relaxation pose. So really make sure that you've got everything set up so that you are as comfortable as possible. And I'm just going to end this class with a saying by Swami Rama that wrote, "You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering the change rather than allowing it to master you. So keep thinking about that. And I will see you again soon. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.